All right, welcome. It's so good to see everybody. It's great to be here. I hope everybody made it through the uh, hurricane okay. I'm just making sure everybody did. Very important we get through that. We made it through safe. I'm in Naples, Florida. As you know, we were kind of next to Fort Myers. We were kind of like the major destination, but we're moving on. Our office is good. The school's good. Everything's going okay. If anybody in this session had major damage, our heart goes out to you. Very heartfelt. Very important. Obviously, a lot of things are going on right now, and sometimes this does take a back seat to it. But what we want to do in this group, this is a great group. We have a lot of people involved in the group. What we want to do from time to time is we want to go in and we want to help you explain some of these things that might cause a little bit of tension for you, right? I know that when I took the state exam, I was so nervous about the math questions. I mean, the math questions were always a little bit of a problem for me. But since I have since improved on those ever since I've been teaching the subject, so it really does help. But listen, what we want you to do is we want you to feel comfortable. We want you to understand that, hey, listen, everybody has similar issues with this math stuff. If you're really good at math, you don't obviously, but we get a little tensed up about it. The big thing I want to do is explain to you, like, listen, do not let the math portion of the real estate exam stress you out. Okay. There's going to be about 10 or 11 questions on the state exam that's going to be math problems that you're going to have to know. Now, when we say that, you have 10 questions, right? You are allowed to miss 25. Okay. You're allowed to get a 75 on the exam. Do we want to miss all 10 math questions? Absolutely not. But if we can get 5 or 6 or 7 or all of them correctly, it's going to be much better for us, right? So we want to make sure that we do a good job with the math, but do not focus all your study time on the math questions. Because guess what? 90% of all the questions are going to be on other portions of the exam. So it's really important. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over just 3. It sounds like I should go over 10, but I'm going to go over 3 questions because if I give you too many, it might be a little bit difficult. Now, these questions we know are going to probably be in some shape or form on the state exam. Now, the numbers are going to be different. We do not know what's on the state exam, but the format and the way they are set up is going to be almost exactly like you're going to see on the state exam. Okay. So it's real important we follow through these, make some notes. I'm going to break them down. And I think once we break it down, you're going to be pretty confident and pretty impressed with what you guys really know and what you have learned. So again, very important. Do not stress over the math. Do not spend all your time studying the math. Make sure you go over the math. Okay. Now, the good thing about this, and I'm going to put it in the comments when we get done, is we have, and you can see it as well, we have a link to all the math that you're going to find on the state exam on our YouTube channel. So you can go there and you can look at that over and over and over and break it down. Let's go ahead and go over the question that you're going to probably see. It's almost on every exam. And how that works is there's a database the state has. They have a whole bunch of questions, but they usually have this question on it. It's going to say, how many lots can be in a community of a certain size? Okay, so let's go ahead and break this one down, make it real easy for you. How many lots can be in a community of a certain size? Now, again, we need to know certain components of this question. It is very important we do know them, but it's going to make it very easy when we go ahead and break this down and explain it. Okay, let's look at this. A residential zone requires at least 9,000. Whoops, want to go back. Kind of got that going. Trying to get my pen going here. My highlighter, boom. Let me get a red one. Got reset. Okay. A residential zone requires, let's go ahead and make sure you can see this. Okay. Let's go ahead and make sure you can see this. Good. Everybody see it now? Good. All right. A residential zone requires at least 9,000 square feet per lot. 9,000 square feet per lot. Now, think about it. If you've got a community, right? You have a community. You have to make sure that community is broken down and it has streets and it has all the, sidewalks and everything. They want to make sure though every house lot is 9,000 square feet. So the developer is going to, in this case, is going to reserve 10% of the land for streets. Okay, 10% of the land for streets, sidewalks, and a community center. The tract of land for the development consists of 75 acres. Okay, 75 acres. It's important we know that one. Okay, how many residential lots are available for development? Now let's break this down step by step. It's going to make it a lot easier. Okay. First thing we must know is we need to know how many square feet are in an acre. We have to commit this to memory. This is very important. We have to know there's 43,560 square feet. Okay, 500,000. We got a few questions here. A couple people said they passed it, they dominated it. Yay, congratulations for passing it. This course rocks. Thank you so much. Great comments. I appreciate it. You can put questions and stuff in the comments. I got that up now. 43,560. You need to commit this to your memory, right? How do I do it? There's a couple different tricks. You have 4 people going 35 in a 60-mile zone, okay? 4 people going 35 in a 60-mile zone. I like to do this one. 4 plus 3 equals 7, right? 4 plus 3 equals 7. And 5 plus 6 equals 11. And we all know there's a pretty famous convenience store, the 7-Eleven, right? The 7-Eleven. So you're sitting there on the state exam. You're like, oh my God, I can't remember this. This is going to be so difficult. Remember, 7, okay, 7-Eleven. If you remember that, 7-Eleven, right? And this equals 7, which is right here, right? 43, okay? And 11, 5 and 6 is this. And then you just throw on the 0 on the end. Okay, you throw on the 0. That's going to really help you. So you're sitting there on the state exam. You're like, oh, I can't remember this. Think about Tim and 7-Eleven. Okay. However, you have to remember it. You need to remember that number. What happens is you go in the exam with, and you're going to say to yourself, is it 53,560? Is it 40,365 feet? Whatever the question may be, that might get you a little bit confused. But come up with some ways to learn it. And I use it this way. First, we must know how many square feet in an acre. Okay, we know that. Now, we must take this number and how many acres were in the community. Does everybody remember that one? Let's go back real quick. There's 75 acres. There's 75 acres in the community. That's how big it is, right? We want to know the total amount, okay? So we must multiply that square footage by how many acres we have. So you take 75 times 43,560. We know that's how many square feet in acres. Gives us 3,267,000 square feet. That's a lot, right? That's a lot. Okay. Now, we know we got to take another step. The developer needs to reserve 10% for sidewalks. Remember, we said sidewalks, parks, roads, etc. If you have 10 cents in your hand, you have to have 90 cents to make up 100%, right? So to make 100%, you got to have a 90%. So the builder is going to be able to use 90% of that 75 acres. Okay, 90% of that 75 acres. Now to figure out how many lots we can put in there, okay, we know we have to take 3,267,000 and we need to multiply that by 90 because that's what's going to be available for the builder to use. Okay, that's what's going to be available. Remember, the rest of the stuff is going to be streets, sidewalks, parks, that type of thing. So now we have, breaking this down, we have 2,940,300 square feet. Okay, that's what we have. Everybody good with that so far? All right. Now, let's go to the next thing. Based on the question, each lot, remember, needs to be 9,000 square feet. Let's take a look at this. All we need to do is we need to take that 2,940,300 square feet and divide it by 9,000 because this is every lot has to be at least 9,000 square feet, right? It gives us 326.70 lots. Okay. Now, let's be careful of this. Let's be very careful. This is going to be your answer. In most cases, you would look at this and say, all right, I need to round up. Okay, because we all know from grammar school, if this is 5 or higher, we round up. In this case, they are looking for whole lots, whole lots. So in this case, we always, always, always need to remember you must never round up. You must always round down. Okay, you must always round down. I'm going to give you an example. On the state exam, they're going to have the right, wrong answer on there. They're going to have 327. They're going to have 326.70. They're going to have all that. The number, they're asking you how many lots is going to be at the end, and it's going to be 326. Okay. You always round down when you get this question. Okay. Is everybody following me and good with that? Okay. Very good. Let's do a little recap. Remember, 75 acres. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. Okay, so we have to take it and multiply that. It gives us a total of 3,267,000 square feet. We break it down into square feet. Now, what we do is we take that 3,267,000 times 0.90 because that's the amount of land we're allowed to use. The 10% is being reserved for something else, the parks, the community center, all that stuff. Okay, that's going to give us 2,940,300 square feet. Okay, everybody good with that? 2,940,300 square feet. Now, all we have to do, remember, each lot in that community is going to be, it must be 9,000. That's what the builder needs to build that house on. All you do is you divide it. It gives you 326.70 lots. Remember, we got to knock this off. Okay, subtract that. It round down. Remember, there's not enough space to put another full lot in there, so it has to round down, never round up. That's going to be your answer. Okay, that's going to be your answer. Very good. Now, I'm just going to give you an example of how tricky they're going to be on the state exam. Okay, they're going to give you all these different ones. If you round up, it's going to be this one. If you round up twice, it's going to be that. This is going to be the answer. If you give it just this number, that's going to possibly be an answer on the state exam as well. You want to make sure that you pick the right one. It's going to be 326 feet. 326 feet. All right. Everybody good with that one? Okay. Everybody good. All right. That's going to be a tricky one. But I tell you, this example or the bin question, which we're going to cover in a minute, is going to be on the state exam. So walk it through. Make sure you understand your different steps. Okay. Question number 2 is going to be the bin question. Okay. The bin question. We like to call this one. A few questions out there. Do we round down for all math questions in the state test or just this question? It's going to be good question. It's going to be just this question, because what they're doing is they're asking you how many lots can you put in the community. You cannot take a partial lot, and even if it's 0.7 or 0.6 or 0.5, you can't take a partial lot and make it a bigger lot because that's the only space that they have. Great questions. Great questions. Casey, another question. If there are 2 answers like this one, which one is right? 326.7 or 326? It's going to be 326, okay? Because they want to know how many whole lots are going to be in that community. Everybody good with that? Excellent question. Good job. Okay? You guys are really good on it. Ask the questions. We got them now. We're here. This bin question will be on the state exam. Either one of these 2 will be on it. Now, this bin question is essentially very much like the other question. It's just a different thing. It's kind of weird. Great job, Casey. It's kind of weird that the bin question pops up, but think of a storage facility, right? Think of a storage unit where they have maybe wine and they put in there, those big buildings, and they have 3 floors on them and they're storage. That's probably what they're want you to understand. They're trying to get you to make sure you understand the theories and concepts of the questions, and you have to subtract out the usable space. Let's go ahead and do this question, okay? Here we go. I'm going to put it so you guys can see it. And we'll go ahead and do that. The bin question. A building has 3 stories. The building is 3 stories high, and each floor is 150 by 150. That's each floor. If 20% of each floor could not be used, how many bins would fit in the building if it were 5 by 5? If each bin was 5 by 5. Now we know 5 by 5 is no more. That's just 25 square feet, right? That's 25 square feet. So we know that. Okay. We're kind of jumping ahead, but I get excited because I want you to look at this question. A building is 3 stories, very important. The size of each floor, not the whole thing, of each floor is 150 by 50, right? If 20% of each floor cannot be used, that means we can use 80% of that floor. Okay, how many bins can we fit if they were 5 by 5? Now, 5 by 5 is just 25 bins. That's it. No big deal, right? Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, let's go ahead to the break it down. We first must determine how much space is on each floor. Okay, and it's pretty easy to do. You just take 150 times 50. It's going to give you 750 square feet. That's going to be on each floor. Please, please, please don't forget, if it says 2 floors, 4 floors, 5 floors, don't forget you need to multiply these together because they will have the right, wrong answer on there. Okay. They're going to have the answer if you just put 2 floors or 1 floor or whatever. Multiply these together. It's going to give you a total of 22,500 square feet. Okay. Now, that's how much we have total on all 3 floors. To break this down, if you remember the question, they only said that we can use 80% of it for the bins. Okay, 80% for the bins. That means 20% of the floor cannot be used. So what we want to do is we want to take 22,500 and multiply it by 80.80. Every time you're trying to think of how do they come up with 80? What makes up a whole dollar? I like to say a dollar, like makes up one. If you've got 20 cents, you need to have 80 cents to make up $1. So one whole. Okay. So if you're trying to figure out, well, how did they get 0.80? Because they need to make up one whole piece. So what you want to do is we're allowed to use 80% of this. 80% of this. That is going to be a total of 18,000 square feet. Okay. That's what we're allowed to have. Okay. Square feet. 18,000. Now it's real easy from here, right? This is an easy one. All we have to do is take 18,000 and we just divide it by 25. Why is it by 25? Because in the question they said each bin is 5 by 5. Okay, 5 feet by 5 feet. It's going to be a total of 25. We just take the 18,000, divide it by 25. It gives us a total of 720 20 bins. 720 bins. That's how much they're asking for. Let's go ahead and just do a little recap, break it down. Remember, 150 times 50 gives you 750 square feet. That's how much space is on each floor. You multiply that by 3, it gives you this number here. Okay. You got to times it by 80 because we're only allowed to use 80. You can't do the whole thing, right? You can't just put 2250 because they're looking for you to see if you catch that on the question. You can only use 80%. You take 18,000. That's going to be the number of 22,500 times 80, and that's going to come down to 18,000. And you're going to divide that by 25. Okay, because we know each bin is 5 by 5. A question on the Facebook: can you bring a calculator? Yes, you can. A lot of times they're going to give you a calculator there. But make sure you bring one in. Each testing center is maybe a little bit different. From my understanding, if you take it online, you have a calculator that's actually part of the program, and they said it's a little bit clumsy. So if you can go to a testing center, I get the question a lot. I would prefer to do that. If you can't make it, or if it's a long ways away, they will provide you with the calculator. They're not going to let you take in your iPhone. They're not going to let you take in your iWatch. It's going to have to be one of those like real cheap dollar store ones that just plug in the numbers. Okay. Great question. Okay. Now, we got 720 bins. This is going to be the answer. This is where it gets tricky, right? They're going to have the right, wrong answer. Okay. This is going to be an answer there if you forget to multiply it by 3 or by 4. Remember, how many stories is it? How many floors? If you don't do it, they're going to put it there. This might be just a throw out. Remember, it's going to be, in this case, it's going to be 720. This is going to be the one, this 900 is going to be the one if you fail to reduce the, remember, you're only allowed to have 80%. So if you fail to take out the 20%, okay, if you fail to do that, this answer is going to be there. Okay. So you're going to be all excited going, but make sure you go back and make sure you subtract it because you're only allowed to use whatever percentage they tell you on the thing. So if it's 70%, 80%, 10%, you're going to have to figure that out. But they're going to have the right, wrong answer there to make sure you understand it and you comprehend it. Okay. Is everybody good with that? Okay. Excellent job. Now, again, don't get nervous on these questions. This thing is going to be here. It's going to be posted on the group. You can go back and look at it. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. You can go back and look at that. Don't worry about it. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be plugging your own numbers. My suggestion is before you go to the test, take some of these numbers and plug them different ways. Run them backwards and forth, okay? Again, don't spend tons and tons of time on your math. Some of you guys are probably very good at math, and this is very easy. But go ahead and try to plug in some different numbers and make sure you know the process. Again, try to stay with a good process and make sure you understand the concept of it. Because what they're trying to do is they're going to try to see if you're going to skip a step, and that's a big deal. Okay. What do we got here? Somebody just posted, I get the same answer, but I do it different. That's fine. That's perfect. Okay. Casey, that's perfect. If you get the same answer and you do it a different way, that's fine. I'm just trying to break it down the way I kind of learned it. There's no right, wrong way as long as you're doing the math correctly. So that's perfect. Okay. Question: can I bring a calculator? Excellent. Good questions. All right. All righty. All right. Let's go ahead now and let's go to the third question. Third question of the day, and we'll probably do more of these because these are fun in the rest of the week or soon. Okay. We got a lot of people that are watching, which is good. Okay, this is one that is probably going to be on your exam. I keep saying that over and over because I don't want you to be studying something that's not going to be on the exam. The repaving of the street question. Repaving of the street. There's going to be more than likely a question about this. These three questions kind of go hand in hand. They're very similar, but you're going to see some of the same stuff on these as you'll see on the state exam. The numbers are going to be different, but other than that, the structure is going to be, and the way you do them is going to be exactly the same. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this one. The city is repaving the streets in the community. Okay, the city will assume 20% of the expense. That means they're going to be nice and they're going to pay 20% of it. That's going to be great, right? All right, they're going to pay 20% of it. That means we as citizens have to pay the other percentage, which is going to be 80%. The city has approved a bid to pave the streets at a cost of $25 per linear foot. That's a straight line. How much of this special assessment for the homeowner for a lot that measured 75 feet by 660? Okay, 75 feet by 660. Now, the reason why I made this one red and I highlighted this in red is because that first number, not this one, okay, not that one. This first number is the number you're going to have to use and plug into the formula. And I'll explain that here in a second. That first number is going to be this, okay? It's going to be the 75 feet. This is going to be your frontage of your house. This is how much you're going to have right here for the road. Okay, is everybody good with that? That's going to be the road portion. So the only thing you're required to pay is this little section here. Okay, this is all you have to pay. You don't have to pay across the street. And we'll talk about that later. The neighbor who lives across the street here, okay, who lives over here, he or she is going to have to pay this portion. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. We only have to worry about this, and we'll show you how to do that. So what we want to do is we want to take 75 times 25, which is how much it's going to cost to do the street. And that's what we need to do. Now, this lot is 75 by 660. So this is the 660 part, right? 660. We have these, believe it or not, in Collier County. They call them Band-Aid lots out in Golden Gate Estates. They're Band-Aid lots. That's the 660. They do not care about this way because this has nothing to do with the pavement this way. Okay. So just don't worry about that number. Okay. Just this number here is all they worry about right there. That's 75. All right. Now, what we want to do is we want to take the 1875. That's the number that we came up with right here, right? $1,875. We want to multiply that by 80. Why do we want to multiply it by 80? Okay. Why do we want to multiply? Because that is the portion the state and the city, or that's the portion that landowners, that these two people here, okay, these people and these people across the street, that's the portion they're paying. The city is going to pay 20%. So if they're going to pay 20%, we as community members and living in that community or on that street, we have to pay the other. And that's going to be 80%. So this is how much the owners of both sides of the street must pay. They must pay a total of $1,500. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Do not just say, okay, 1,500, I'm done with the exam, I'm good, I see the answer, boom, boom, boom. Okay? Do not do that. You must understand that you are splitting that with your neighbor across the street. Okay, I'm going to show you. This portion is going to be split. So right here, I'm going to put the little thing up here in just a second. You're going to see it. That portion is going to be paid by your neighbor across the street. You're only going to be paying this part. So if this whole thing here costs $1,500 altogether, you're only responsible for this part. That's going to be $750. So remember to divide it by 2. That's going to be essential. Remember to divide it by 2. Okay, very important. Let's do a recap. 75 times 25. Remember, this is the frontage of the house. Times 25 gives you 1875. That's going to be the portion. That's 75 is the street portion. Comes out to 1875 times 80. This is what you and your neighbor across the street must pay. It comes out to a total of 1,500. Be sure. Make sure you divide that by 2. Gives you 1,750. Everybody good with that so far? Because you are splitting it with the neighbor across the street. Okay, that's essential. Now, the answer on this one, obviously, is going to be $750. It's going to be $750. They are going to have the right, wrong answer. As you will see, they'll have that there. If you use the long end, they'll have that one there as well. If you were to use the 660 and factor that in, that's going to be there. And this is a throw-off question answer. Okay. Remember, they like to put the right, wrong answers on there. They want to see if you really can comprehend it. Okay. Very good. Excellent. Okay, you guys did good on that. Very good. Does anybody have any questions? Please put them in the Facebook. A couple things that I want to go over with you. Just a few things before we stop it. I just started up something that's really, really cool, and you'll really like it. I've already had a lot of good feedback on it. If you text me your full name to this number, 239-510-8250. 239-510-8250. You will get some questions, some quizzes, all kinds of cool stuff. It doesn't cost anything. It's just part of our group. I really enjoy doing it. Text me your full name. That's all I need to have in there. And I need to have the full name. So when I respond back to you and I can, say that you're on the list. So just text me your full name to that number, 239-510-8250. Okay, 8250. Just text me that. Another cool thing is, in case you didn't know, this Saturday, we are going to have a Cram course. Now, previously I did it for 6 hours. I extended it to 8 hours, right? This is going to be kind of cool, right? We're going to go 8 hours A lot of it's going to be like this. We're not going to do a lot of math. We're going to do a lot of law. A lot of people have asked me, what about the legal portion? I want to know about that. We're going to teach you all the stuff that you're going to need to pass the exam. Now, if you look in the group, a lot of people are passing. Now, I can't take credit for all of it, but they are hard studiers, hard workers. We're all working together in here. Listen, the Cram class is great. If you put in the coupon code FB40, you get it comes out to like, I think it's $59.60 for the class. You get 3 really cool guides that will help you study. Everything you need to know is going to be on there. It's going to have a vocabulary. There's going to be there's a 430 thing you can make flashcards with. There's, all kinds of good stuff. We're going to really jam. It's going to be just like this with a minor break here and there, but we are going to go full speed. By the end of that course, you will have a very good knowledge about it. So there's 50 spots that we're going to have, and I think we've got about like 10 or 11 left. Okay. So make sure after this, go in and sign up and get that. You will be given a Zoom code, and we'll go in and we're going to do it on Zoom. It's a really fun day. We have a good time. We laugh, we joke, we really, really enjoy it. So it's a good time, and I think you'll really like that. How long does it take to get that, Jackie? I don't believe I got it. Could you try to just resend it again, because it should come almost immediately. If I didn't do it, I'll go in and check. But go ahead and redo it, and I'll make sure you get that, because I know you've been studying hard and getting ready to take that test. Okay. So we really want to see you on Saturday. That's really neat. Okay, that's really cool. We have a great time. It's kind of like this. We have a lot of fun. We do quizzes, a lot of quizzes. We expose you to a lot of questions. We have a really good time with it. Again, I'll see you on Saturday. I'll see you in the group. Tell your friends about it if you know somebody else taking a real estate class. I really like this group. It's one of my favorite things to do. With everybody going through some tough times down this way, this is a really good opportunity for me to get everybody talk and enjoy myself with the group. Again, thank you. If you got any more questions, just let me know. Again, you can click and go to the YouTube channel. You'll see this on Facebook. It's just going to be up after we're done. So everything's good. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Be safe. Have a good night. And we'll see you, and keep posting in the group. We love it. All right. Thank you.